Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Depending on where and when you're listening to this is Coffee with Kevin. And yes, coffee with a K as opposed to what you see up on my wall, coffee with a C. You know, coffee with a K because Kevin's with a K. Good morning. This is my coffee this morning. Mm. I'm just using a branded coffee from a friend of mine from Doran Beam and Farrell, which is a law firm. And my friend is neither Doran Beam or Farrell, but she is one of the very important lawyers in that law firm, Kelly Wagner. Mm. Give a little shout out every once in a while. I'm Kevin, by the way, from Coffee with Kevin. Kevin Martin. I'm a hypnotherapist, an author, a speaker, a trainer. Done many things in my life and still doing a lot of them as well. I was a software engineer for many, many years. That I'm not doing anymore, but all the other things, absolutely. Mm. Today, um, we're going to talk about okay, your attitude determines your altitude. Anyone out there knows Zig Ziglar, you probably recognize that. That's one of the things that was one of his quotes. And I am all about attitude. I am all about mindset. That's what my specialty is. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. I want to do something a little differently. I have recently been listening to, and I think I'm on the third time. I love to listen to books. If you don't listen to books, you should try listening to books. If you have a hard time reading, it is the best way. If you do a lot of driving, it is the best thing to do is spend your time nurturing that mind. Nurturing that mind. You think of the mind as a kind of a garden. Okay. You can nurture it and fertilize it and help it grow really well. Or you can ignore it and let weeds grow in there and just not pay attention to what you're letting into the garden. The weeds will grow and it'll crush all the good stuff out. That's a nice metaphor I love to use. And it's true. So I'm all about nurturing that garden, nurturing that mind of mine. So I do read a lot or listen to. It's not reading, even though I ask Alexa to read something. I'm just hoping my own device didn't, listen to me just then. You gotta be quiet when you say that name when you have those Amazon devices in your home. Anyway, we were talking about I was talking about listening to books. I listen to Audible, but there's, audio books is another source where you can listen to audio books. And the one I've been listening to as of late is See You at the Top, which was one of Zig's very first big hits. And this was like a 25-year edition audio one. So I love listening to Zig's voice. If you haven't listened to him, he's got this big southern drawl. Oh my goodness. It's really extended his drawl. He's a southern boy. When I was listening to most of the stuff, he was out in North Dallas, Texas, and I actually spent a lot of time out there myself and tried to get to see him. Didn't get to. He was also not only a motivational speaker and a sales trainer, he was also um, a speaker at his church. Very devout man, and so that's one of the things I wanted. I came a day or 2 days within seeing him, and the my schedule had to bring me back home, unfortunately. But I had seen him several times in speaking engagements, and it was just wonderful. He's one of my favorites, one of my mentors, and I think there's a lot of value there. I learned a lot about personal growth from him, and I passed him on to some of my friends who actually one of my friends told me because of that He got his MBA. He had the motivation, he had the tenacity to go and get his MBA. And I know it started with me lending some of my audio files, which I love to do, to my friends. And so today, See You at the Top was all about, success. Success. When we talk about success, a lot of us think about, okay, lots and lots of money. Okay. Money is an interesting thing nowadays. At least it is for me because I see it differently than I saw it when I was small, when I was not smaller, younger. Yeah. I see it a little differently than I did when I was younger. And I did want to get a lot of money. I did want to be wealthy. I wanted to live in really nice places. And we did along the way. We did a lot of things. We traveled a lot, enjoyed a lot, lived in a beautiful, huge home, and we did get to do a lot of things. But today, when you're looking at like the world's richest people, their money is not only in the billions and in the trillions, and it's just amazing. So maybe money's not the thing, and money shouldn't be the thing with success. Success is about getting, being able to do the things you want to do, being able to set out for an objective and achieving it, getting it, being it, or just really living the kind of life that makes you happy. To me, that's success, and it doesn't have to be measured in billions or millions or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. It doesn't have to be measured in dollars at all. It has to be measured in feelings. And that I think, that's how I look at success now. Am I happy? Am I doing what I love? Am I helping other people? Because that makes me happy. And that is success to me. That is success to me. We got no one on the chat now. If you're chatting, I'm not seeing you. I apologize. Again, it's mostly Facebook chats anyway, but if you're out there, say hi. Comment on there and just say hi if you're out there. I'm going to go right to quotes. By the way, the reason I listen to a lot of nonfiction. I like to learn a lot. So I listen to things I like that help me learn, but I also like listen to a lot of things that inspire me. And Zig Ziglar has a quote. I'm not using it in my quotes today, but I just thought of it. He says, motivation is like washing up. It feels really good, but you need to do it every so often, at least once a week. And that was something he actually said back in the 70s. So maybe once a week was there. Need to be washing up every day, right? Motivation's like that. We need a burst of motivation. I go for inspiration. I love to be inspired. Good morning, sweetheart. My beautiful wife is on there. And so, yeah, I look for inspirations and Zig Ziglar is always inspiring to me, but you might have other things that are inspiring to you. I listen to a lot of inspirational stuff. I listen to a lot of nonfiction, some biographical. I was going to say biological, and you know what? I do listen to some things that have to do with biology. Um, I like to keep feeding this mind, this brain, so I'm learning stuff, and I like to learn things because it eventually helps me help other people when I've learned about things. Let's see what we have on quotes today. All of these quotes come from "See You at the Top" by Zig Ziglar, so I don't have any authors at the end of these quotes. Now, this first one is one of my favorites. It's a quote I use all the time. It's used in my own book, Living Your Dream Life. You can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. Now, this is about other people. You'd figure, a quote on inspiration or a quote to motivate someone would be about yourself. This is about other people. This is basically the golden rule. Basically, he's just laying it out there. He says, if you want to get a lot of things in life, you can't ignore helping other people. You can't be just in the lane for you. All right. There are other lanes. And when you get into the other lanes and helping other people, that helps you go a little faster in your own lane to get to what you want. This is another one. Maybe I even use it more than the last one. Life is tough. Life is not easy, but life can be infinitely easier on you if you are tough on yourself. Now, that tough on yourself, sometimes people think, I gotta really I gotta really demand everything of me, and I gotta really, I gotta kick myself everything at time I do wrong. No, it's actually going out and having discipline and having tenacity to do the things you need to do to get what you want to do. We talk about in personal growth, especially in um, the overnight success type of stuff that's out there. It's like, okay, this is gonna be easy. You're gonna own your own business and only work 2 hours a day. Yeah, that doesn't work. And actually the whole concept. Now, maybe there's stuff out there where you can do things only 2 hours. There's all sorts of stuff, but every single one of those, you actually have to do a whole lot of work ahead of time before you can get to that 2 hour a day thing. And the whole concept of having your own business is much easier than, because you're your own boss and you make your own time. Well, your business actually does all that for you. Your business ends up being the boss. Your business ends up determining your time. Sometimes you work twice as hard as you would for working for somebody else in a 9 to 5. So yeah, it's that's a little bit of a lie. It's a deception. However, if you're working your own business and you chose this business and it's something you love to do, even though you're working hard, it's so much easier because you love it. Because you love it. But tough on yourself is being disciplined, being able to do the things you're supposed to do, you need to do to get what you want. That's the tough on yourself here. And then life does become easier when you do that. Positive thinking will let you do everything better than negative thinking. Now, Zig goes on this little story about, hey, I really, I saw some YouTube videos on how to do surgery on a bladder, and I really, really think I learned enough. I'm so positive I can do this. No, no, positive thinking alone by itself will do nothing for you. Just positive thinking by itself won't about anything that you wanna do alone won't do it, but it'll do better than negative thinking will in every case. Oh, he tells the story about, "Hey, you and I are on a deserted island, and I've got" I had watched a lot of videos and studied a lot about doing that kind of surgery, and all of a sudden you have a problem with your bladder, and I really have confidence. Wouldn't I be better in that case than someone who say, "No, no, 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 I'm not gonna touch it. I'm gonna kill you if I do." You know, that was his story, and it's a little out there, but I will tell you that positive thinking in every case will increase the odds of you being successful. And it certainly is much better than negative thinking, which really increases the odds of you being unsuccessful. And positive thinking is a big thing for me because I understand how it it works in your neurology. I understand how it works with your subconscious mind, right? People poo-poo positive thinking because they think, "Oh, just because I think I can do it, I'll be able to do it," and then they find out it doesn't work. No, it's not that simple. However, if you are keeping a positive mind more than you're keeping a negative mind, you'll have much more success. It's about because then the more we think about, the more we get. And the more in the way we think, the more in the manner we get. So if we think more positive, we'll have more positive experiences. But if we think more negative, we'll have much more negative experiences. It's that simple. So I usually tell my clients, you got to try to be positive in your life more than you are negative in your life. I want to say 50, more than 50%. And and it's just that. And the whole thing comes when you're starting to be aware of those negative thoughts. Awareness is the first thing. And you say, okay, why am I thinking negative? Is it really true? You analyze it, you rationalize it, and you find out you don't have to think negative. Or you just say, okay, what's the opposite of this? Maybe I should think that. That's where the positive thinker really comes in. Oh, okay, success means doing the best we can with what we have. Some people put so much pressure on being successful and they put it out there that they success only comes when I do this almost impossible stuff. No, if we are doing the best we can with what we have, we're being successful. Even if the outcome isn't what we want, if we've done the best with what we have, we're successful. Now, that may not translate into every part of your life. Right? So maybe you need to have more resources. Maybe you need to have more learning, more training, more practice. That's what we have, by the way. So if we're not finding them, we're not getting the outcomes, but we are doing the best what we have. We're being successful to that limit, but maybe we want more success. So then what do we need to increase in what we have? More practice, more training, more knowledge. Okay. I feel a little off making these quotes without the accent. You don't have to be a great start, but you have to start to be great. This is a really simple one. And a lot of times we think about all the things we want to do and we get a little overwhelmed and we get doubt and we get, you know, um, not deserving thoughts and things like that. And we don't do anything. It's a matter of starting. If you want to go for something, find out where you need to start. What's the first thing? Is it a phone call? Is it you got to look up? Is it you have to actually, spend a couple hours on something just to start? Maybe that's all it's going to be for you. And the last one, I purposely put this last because I think this is a great way to end today. What you get by achieving your goals is not as anywhere near as important as what you become by achieving those goals. So any goal, it's not really about achieving. It's about becoming. Sometimes it's about the whole journey, but the journey helps us become that person. So think about that when you're looking at what you want. How is getting what you want gonna make you change? How is that gonna change you? And how is that person going to be when that happens? All right. This has been Coffee with Kevin. And again, I'm Kevin. Hey, in a couple weeks, I got a new book. It's actually not my book, but I have a chapter in this book coming out on June 16th. There's a kickoff. I'll have it on my profile. I'll post it in Facebook. I'll post it in LinkedIn. a new book coming out called Quantum Healing. It's a multi-author. There's 36 authors with some very famous authors in there, and I am so proud to be part of this book. All right. You take care all. Until next week, you have yourself a magnificent time. Matter of fact, again, it's not because I'm wishing for you. Maybe I'm reminding you that's maybe what you should move towards, but it is your choice. How you feel is your choice. I've said that many times, and you should know this by now. So when you start to feel negative, when you start to feel not so good, tell yourself, well, I really would like to feel the other way. Let's feel the other way. Think about things that help you feel the other way. That's the start. Okay, until next time. Bye. Take care.